It's what?
Friday.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, man. My brain is completely a wreck with like the moving process and everything. I can't think about anything. I was trying to order last night at Sonic. I was trying to order for my family. It took me like 15 minutes in the drive-thru to get it out. I was like, okay, somebody wants like a hamburger with no onions. I don't remember who. Like going through, and I just needed so much time to do that. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me today. But we have 5. What?
Did you not write it down?
What the order? They were sitting right next to me. I just couldn't repeat it. It makes it even like they were in the car and I couldn't even relay. You know, like that old radio, the telephone game. Yeah. By the time there was no intermediates. Like it was my wife and me. And by the time it went in my ear and out my face, the information completely changed. She'd be like, "I want a cheeseburger." She'll have 2 corn dogs. That's not what she wanted.
What do you think about when you're at a restaurant, a waiter or waitress does not write down your order?
Impressive but risky. It makes me nervous.
I always think, okay, hot
if you get it right.
Okay, hot shot.
It's very impressive if you get it right. If you don't, you're like, look at you, man. What the fuck?
Written it down.
You're not. Who do you think you are? You're not Jennifer Aniston in The Waiting. That's not who you are. You don't have that much flair. Was it Jennifer Aniston? What movie is she a waitress?
You're thinking Waiting with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Yes. Office Space. That's the one. She's a waitress.
Space. Yes. Yeah. Well, and then that other little show she did. She was a waitress for a few seasons on that other show.
Friends.
Oh yeah, Joey.
That's the one.
Joey. All right. Well, anyways, today we have 5 rounds in the magazine. Round number 1, Tucker Carlson. The women of the armed forces have a greater responsibility than you could possibly fathom. You weep about cancel culture and you curse those on maternity leave. You have that luxury. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know, that allowing women to have ponytails in uniform, while tragic, doesn't cost any lives. And their existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, probably saves lives. Because places you don't want to talk about at the country club, you're too big of a pussy to be on that wall. They're needed on that wall. They use words like honor, code, loyalty. They use them as a backbone for a life spent defending something. You use them as a punchline. ZBT has neither the time nor the inclination to be mocked by a man who rises and falls on the blanket of freedom that they provide and then questions the manner in which they provide it. We'd rather you just said thank you and went on your way. Otherwise, we suggest you pick up a weapon and stand a post. Either way, we don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to. Round number 2, a sommelier tests various types of energy drinks. And if he shits on Rippets, he can join Tucker Carlson on Firewatch. Round number 3, and a little bit of a safety brief. We need to remind you that bears love eating ass. Round number 4, you're a snuggler, a tangler, a logistics link of limbs that ending up intertwining with mine. You kick me over some of the duvet and the gentlest of gestures and fester in the filth of your little sister's linen as the full moon sheds shame on our backsides. But as the sun scowls through the window that frames the 4-post, you wrap yourself in the sheets like a sushi roll of biscuited bitterness. You natter to the bedbugs, the only ones who will listen to your curses whilst me. I'm basking in the warmth of a Sunday scandal, unlike some of the crew members of a submarine that is currently infested with bed bugs. And finally, round number 5, I have a little contest for Cons and Kate. It'll be a little bit of an enlisted versus officer affair. And all that today is going to be brought to you by our good friends at Bare Bottom Clothing. Bare Bottom Clothing knows that spring break is here and you're probably going to want to soak up the sun after a long winter inside, but you have to make sure you're equipped with the right threads to conquer your spring adventures. And where should you go upgrade your outside wardrobe? Well, look no further than Bare Bottom Clothing, my friends. If you're like me, you're loving the Bare Bottom Clothing. You're looking good in your little joggers. It makes my ass pops. It's like essentially those TikTok leggings for men.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. They get you popping.
They do. Booty be popping, titties be popping, everything be popping with Bare Bottom because they're the MVP of the closet and they keep coming back for more. They're designed to transition from the couch to the gym to work to play wherever you want to go. They only make threads that you love to wear all day long. While Bare Bottom typically donates shorts to children in need through their One For You, One For Them program, they're switching thing up. And for a limited time, Bare Bottom will be donated a protective mask to a first responder, teacher, or someone in need for each item purchased. Right now, our listeners get free shipping on their first order for these super comfortable threads at barebottomclothing.com bearbottomclothing.com with the code 0. Just go to bearbottomclothing.com. That's BEAR, like the animal bottom. And we're going to talk about that animal in a round later on. Use the promo code 0 and get free shipping on your first order. It's a great brand at a great price. Make sure you check that out. bearbottomclothing.com. Let's get started with the show. I thought I was going to struggle through that Tucker Carlson thing, but nailed it.
No, you really nailed it. You've done good. Well, nicely done.
Thank you very much. And it's a surprise because this week has been an absolute nightmare. If those who have been to enlisted boot camp, and I'm sure Cons did the same type of things at West Point, like your first summer, where it's just like cleaning intensive. So we've been in this house for 10 years. So getting it ready to stage for like pictures and showings and things like that is difficult. We keep everything pretty clean here all the time, but there's always like, you have to put away a million things. Right. And then when somebody like a professional photographer is coming to your house to take pictures for a listing, you want it to be immaculate.
Yeah, that's a different level of clean altogether.
We were running around like it was battalion commander's inspection day.
That's a good way to put it.
I mean, legitimate. I'm not kidding. I was wearing that jumbo shrimp shirt that I wear that has like the shrimp that's dressed like Gardner Minshew. Mm-hmm. And it went from a light pink to almost a red with the amount of, I was sweating profusely. I was like, Kelsey, you got to go outside. You got to make sure that the stock tank pool is cleaned out. We're going to have that thing going. We need McCartney, go pick up all the dog poop, pick up and just giving out directions. Annalise is doing carpets. We're doing all kinds of stuff. It was so stressful. By the time I got done at the end of the day, we didn't even turn the TV on. We put the kids to bed. They went to bed. Annalise and I took a shower. I took a bath, and we just laid there and stared at the ceiling. Like, I can't believe
that's
5 hours.
Yeah,
that's a serious level of tired because the only times I will go to bed without watching television first is if I just am, coming home and I've had a few drinks and I just pass out, or, you have to be so tired that you can't do anything else. So I understand that.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it was like sitting there. I can't believe this happened. And because it's just, I guess I'm just not used to stress anymore. I mean, my job is just not stressful. Like, there is stressful elements, like you have to create and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, realistically, we have pretty fucking easy jobs. Like, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Don't complain. People will be in your mentions like, your job's
trust
stressful.
me, I'm not complaining about my job. Like, I love it. But I used to have a high pressure job. Like, I used to look for bombs all the time.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty high pressure.
And now I'm just like, if it's something, if I have to repeat the menu at the drive-thru, I'm overwhelmed. I can't do it.
As we found out.
Yeah, so, but you know who could do it?
Those pictures came out really well.
Thank you very much. The people who can do it is those ladies who are pregnant. And Tucker Carlson recently, 2 days ago, I believe, he had this diatribe on his show where he was talking about, for some reason, there's this idea that the moment, and this happened when President Trump took office too, that the moment that the president comes into office, everything that happens, they started it. Like, it was their process. So there's been a lot of hullabaloo on all the different social media sites about the new women's regulations that we've talked about. Kate talked about how beneficial it was to ladies. I know plenty of women, and Kate, you could probably attest to this. When you would come home on the daily with your hair in a super tight bun, you almost daily had a headache from it, right?
Yeah. And in the beginning, it's kind of a pain when you're PTing too, and it keeps falling out sometimes if your hair is a little short or whatever. But most importantly, the new regulations were more inclusive for women of color who have different considerations with their hair, just plain and simple. Still looks professional, still looks great. They can just do a couple more things with it that makes life easier for them, was the only change. And then flight suits for maternity flight suits was the other thing. But let's play the clip and hear what a huge piece of shit he is.
So we've got new hairstyles and maternity flight suits. Pregnant women are going to fight our wars. It's a mockery of the U.S. military. While China's military becomes more masculine as it's assembled the world's largest navy, our military needs to become, as Joe Biden says, more feminine, whatever feminine means anymore, since men and women no longer exist. The bottom line is it's out of control, and the Pentagon's going along with this. Again, this is a mockery of the U.S. military and its core mission, which is winning wars. One of the few people who's been paying attention to this is someone who served in the U.S. military, Indiana Congressman Jim Banks.
I'm sorry.
And This was something that as soon as Kate saw it, we talked about it a little bit before we started recording. Kate oftentimes is calculated in her criticisms of things. Like we've talked about it when I was going out as the Sergeant Major of the Army. Kate is not the same confrontational person that I can be. Like she doesn't like to do that. So I knew as soon as you went after Tucker on your Twitter feed and dropped a full out cunt bomb. There was no duty balls. There was nothing like that involved. It was straight up this dirty fucking cunt. I knew it was a serious issue.
Yeah. Basically,
and it wasn't even a Sunday morning with hungover Katie
saying, accusing Joe Biden of trying to feminize the military with flight suits that have been in the works since 2019 when Trump was president, actually. Right. So that has nothing to do with Biden. And also saying that seeing pregnant women in uniform is a mockery of the U.S. is the feminization of the military. And my prego hormonal filled ass blood, when I say it boiled, you stupid motherfucker. This plays, unfortunately, cable news networks so that they play in DFAX across the country and the world and whatever. And people see what this dumb, I'll say it, cunt has to say. And I literally my blood was fucking boiling because it's shit like that that's so harmful that the fucking neckbeards see that they're like, yeah, he's right. And it makes life so much harder for us. Pregnant women in uniform, I won't get into it, but we've talked about how hard they still have it. There's still all these rumors and myths and this and that. And
we have one of the more calm comment sections of any of the large military social media sites or anything like that. Even when we talk about it, it gets nasty. And I just don't understand it from this crowd. Traditionally, conservatives have prided themselves on respect for the military and respect for traditions and things like that. How in the fuck could you say that? Which is a direct shot at 20% of the active duty military, and say that you are respecting the military. You're just flat out not.
Because his
20%.
version of the military looks like one person and one person only. A white male. That's it.
White male, high and tight haircut, and washboard abs, and 6 feet tall, and it's just that's not what the military.
Colonel Jessup.
Right.
Yeah, more or less.
And nobody else counts.
He's stuck in that timeline too with these comments, with these antiquated views. Can I say something just a little more macro?
That's what this whole thing is about.
Can we just wipe out cable news, entertainment, and not just Fox, CNN, MSNBC, wipe them all out and just start over, because they're all a bunch of idiots. They're saying things for entertainment purposes. I'm sure somewhere in Tucker Carlson's brain, he believes this, but so much of this stuff is meant to be incendiary, and they're given this large platform, as you said, Kate, that is played in DFAX all across.
And I don't think they do military. I don't think that they legitimately believe.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's the worst part, because he will never have to walk through a crowded chow hall with a pregnant belly, working his dick off in the military, and having to walk through a crowded chow hall knowing that all eyes are on you, judging the shit out of you, thinking less that you're less than because of something behind it. It's just insane to me.
One of my favorite follows, Lethality Jane, she was talking about, she was a staff NCO at the point when she was pregnant, and to spend that much time. So what are women that serve? They're just supposed to never have a family. You would never ask that for men. You would never ask don't have a baby and don't protect. It's just insane to me that that's a thing that constantly happens. It's insane.
One thing that she pointed out was that leaders and men in the military need to call this shit out by name and need to say, hey, this is fucking wrong, and let their troops see it.
And
hear them saying it's wrong
about that. The Army is doing a great job about that. Yeah. And the Marine Corps drastically lacking. Sergeant Major Black, say something, you fucking bitch. He never says anything. Never. Yeah. Him and the Commandant are always quiet on these social issues. They'll write these white papers. They'll put out these little alt-mar admins and say, we're not going to be racist. Speak from your fucking throat, Commandant and Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. The Army is leading the example. General Funk doing it. You also had the Sergeant Major of the Army come out and say that this is ridiculous. The best NCO of the Corps in the world is led oftentimes by women. You had Pat Donahue, who's one of my favorite generals. He's a major general in the Army, talking about he just had the privilege of re-enlisting a woman who was going to serve as the command sergeant major, and constantly bragging on their people. That's what you need to do. If you're a person that is in charge, that is vocal and that it's out there, speak from your fucking throat, because what you say makes it different.
Yeah, and what a superficial statement too, because when you listen to him, he's just talking about the maternity uniforms and how they look in these uniforms. It has nothing to do with what they're capable of, what they believe, and how they lead other soldiers and other military members.
And if you're concerned about what they look like in uniform, walk around Lackland.
Yeah, seriously.
It's not a gender-specific issue.
I mean, and we clown people all the time. You know how many fat bodies are in uniform that are so disgusting? I'm disgusted by the fat bodies in the military.
Oh, no.
Oh, here we go. Now, Kate's going to be Kate's about to call concubine.
Get in shape.
But anyway.
But see how ridiculous is that statement that I just made, right? That's why it's nuts, because I had plenty of guys who were probably didn't look, this cookie cutter stereotypical best in uniform, but we're amazing soldiers. So
I've told you plenty of times about my guy PFC Taylor, who I think he started his Marine Corps career as a PFC and he ended it as a PFC. Dumb as a box of rocks, looked like shit in uniform, but if I needed something to carry, I just put it on his back like he was a donkey and he would do it.
Yeah,
that's all. And I think
I need it. Give me a couple of those guys, you can win.
A solution I saw today on, I think it was Jay Carell is his name. He's a military veteran. But he said public televisions, like across all the DFACs and chow halls and like across the country. And I would also add in waiting rooms and whatever, turn off MSNBC, turn off CNN, turn off Fox News.
You can be
Animal Planet.
Yeah.
Everyone just play Animal Planet instead. God damn it. We'd all be happy.
You're right, Kate, because you could be at a military hospital sitting at the OBGYN in uniform, waiting to go in and see your doctor and see that fucking clip again.
It would honestly probably, I think I would like lose my shit if I had to be sitting in a room full of and see that. I think
that's so detrimental. As we said, it just perpetuates this stereotype. And God forbid any pregnant woman in the military right now sees this clip and has even the slightest doubt that, maybe I can't do my job. No, of course you can do your job while you're still pregnant. It's perfectly fine to be pregnant.
And I don't think a whole lot of ladies struggle with that because they know that they can do the job. And Kate made a point also on Twitter yesterday about this dude that was being an idiot in her mentions and saying that you're supposed to fight wars. Not everybody's the last action hero. Not everybody's fucking Bruce Willis and Tears from the Sun coming out from a swamp. Like that's not what 99% of the military is. 99% is support operations. Like that's what you could still be a flight crew chief. You could still fly. You could still work supply. You could still be an MP. You could still do all of these things while also being pregnant, just like everybody does in the civilian sector. Like they don't stop doing stuff just because they're pregnant. Either do military women in uniform. And in fact, I would say that some of those examples that military women in uniform, they go above and beyond, and they work until probably detrimental to their health in a lot of places because they are concerned about what their peers are going to say about them because of statements like Tucker made.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. What? I stand by what I said.
The way you introduced the round, and as well you should, the way you introduced the round about, hey, Tucker, pick up a weapon and stand a post, until you've actually done it in some form or fashion, just keep your mouth shut. You have no room to give any sort of critique, whether it's military women being pregnant or the military in general. I don't want to hear it from you, Tucker.
Yeah, I think that civilians have full right to criticize the military in a wide variety of ways. You can criticize the culture. You can criticize how you have how you spend so much money and have these $1 trillion budgets and how it's a war machine and you have the industrial complex and all that stuff. That's fine and dandy. But when you talk about what actually it takes to win wars, you have no idea. You weakened a country today, son.
Amen. Well, I'm all tuckered out on that one, guys.
We're going to go into a lot more bright news, and this has to deal with one of the most beloved aspects of being a junior troop. Now, I think if you want, like I was saying at the end of round number 1, round number 2, if you had an issue and you said, listen, we need to do something about the military's consumption of energy drinks. That's something I think that's a valid criticism.
Valid.
Because you have so many folks from different MOSs across the spectrum who constantly are. I didn't see one of my best friends when I was in, he just retired, actually. His name is Master Sergeant Fuentes. And he was I never saw Fuentes. He was basically monster 40 hands, like the Edward 40 hands. Like it was almost like he had two monsters duct taped to his hands at all times.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it goes down. Like from junior to senior, people are either chugging coffee or they're chugging energy drinks. Task and Purpose highlighted this dude that I had never seen him before. And he is a sommelier. Sommelier training. Have you ever looked at what it entails?
I just recently watched a great documentary called Somm. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I tell everyone to watch it. There's only like 100 master sommeliers on the planet, and the test they have to take at the end.
No, it's not even on the planet. It's of all time.
Oh, of all time.
Yeah.
The test they have to take at the end is like 1,000 questions in 10 different languages. That's like part 1. Part 2, they have to like go into this fake restaurant and make these other master sommeliers happy with their wine selections. And like, can they ice down a bottle of wine in 10 seconds or less using this magic technique, blah, blah, whatever. And then the third is that they have to walk into this room with it's like 3 or 4 glasses,
out, right?
With their dicks and their flaps.
Yeah.
And there's 6
3 reds, 3 whites.
3 reds, 3 whites, right? Just 6 glasses of wine, no labels, no nothing, just 6 glasses in a plain room. They have to walk in, they look at the wine, they sniff it, they taste it, and they go, this, I believe, is a 2012 Cabernet Sauvignon from the California winery Ghost Coast, and it is from this side of the hill where the grapes came from. And they get it fucking right. They get it right. It's insane.
It could be like hundreds and thousands of bottles of wines that they have to like know.
Millions,
But I would say that seems like a fantastic skill to have, but to have a palate that's refined, it would ruin so many other foods for you.
Yeah. Not only that, how many people I guess there's a very small community that can really appreciate that skill. But if you're just going to be, the wine director at a restaurant, most people, that skill is lost on. You can tell me, it has this nodes of this, that, and the other thing, and it's from this vineyard. I'm like, okay, does it taste good? Cool. Most people don't have anywhere near the level of knowledge that people have. So
I love wine. I drink wine. I basically stopped drinking whiskey and beer. I only essentially drink red wine now. And whenever I do, I know like Pinot Noir, like that's a light one. I don't really care for that. That's too light. I want something that's usually spicy and full bodied. That's what I want, like a Petit Syrah. I don't care if it's as long as it's like a $12 bottle, a little bit higher. I don't care. The super cheap stuff gives me a hangover. I need something in the $15, $20 range to keep that away. As long as I do that, I'm fine. But this guy, the sommelier here, he has a TikTok, and I'm not sure. I haven't verified the fact that he's a grand sommelier or anything like that. But he is a sommelier on TikTok. And it's a brilliant idea. Every now and then, because we're in the social media game, I come across an idea that I'm like, fuck, man, that is so simple, yet so brilliant. And this is what that is. This guy is a sommelier, but he is trying out various different types of energy drinks. He's done like 40 or 50 of them so far, but I wanted to go through some of just the popular ones that take place in the military. And to give you an idea, the first one, here he is reviewing Monster.
Welcome to episode 34 here on BSE, and today's energy drink needs little introduction. This is the OG, the original Monster. This was requested by many of you, including Mr. Red Courant, Ryan Thacker himself on Instagram, and Jay Donis on TikTok. Let's get right into the nose. The nose, this has that classic Red Bull American energy drink sort of gummy worm note. It also smells like chopped pears that have been left out. There's a little bit of maybe white grapefruit and lemon peel. Honestly, if neon lights had an aroma, that's kind of what this would smell like. Let's jump into the palate. On the palate, this is medium bodied. It has both incredibly high sweetness and incredibly high acidity that gives it a refreshing and kind of sappy mouthfeel. This is an original. It's kind of hard to score, but for me, it's somewhere in the B range. So I'm going to give this 85 BSE points, and I hope you have an energetic day.
When he says that Monster tastes a little bit like floor cleaner, I felt that.
Oh yeah, you feel it deep in your bones. Well, I mean, rip it to me if I had to. There's a definite medicine.
Well, he does
taste.
rip it. We're going to get into it a little bit. He does rip it too.
Oh, let me see if he says medicine because
I love this dude for how serious he's taking it.
Oh, he's taking it super serious. And he goes in there. I have to say, if you show up to a restaurant and your buddy is like an aspiring sommelier and she starts taking this sip when she's eating fish and she starts going, I'm like, I'm not eating with you again.
I'm out.
Amber. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know how they train for this kind of thing? They need to have like the most refined palates ever, and they need to be able to describe every essence of that thing they're trying. So what they'll do is they'll take an entire Saturday at the grocery store where they walk through and sniff and try, like sniff and like huff every single item. They'll walk through their backyards.
You got to do that at 3 a.m. You can't be doing that at fucking 10:30.
No, especially during COVID times. But like
Carlson needs to get her groceries for the week. You're in a way.
Oh my god!
But they'll go in their garage and they'll chop up items to smell them. So when they taste a sip of wine or they try something, they're like, this has the essence of a cut up tennis ball and a fresh garden hose with a little bit of cat urine in it. And it's like, how do you know that? Oh well, I've sniffed them all. Like they like.
Well, that's
crazy.
the first thing that he says when the monster. He's like, it's got a little bit of a gummy bear. Essence, like the essence of a gummy bear. That's what it has.
The catalog of smells that they have. Like, I at some point, I would just run out of stuff that this smells like, and I would just start recycling like the 10 things I know what they smell like.
All right, I have a question for you guys. Okay, I'll pose this one to you. So if I had a tangerine, an orange, a navel orange, a Florida orange, a Texas orange, and let's say a Satsuma.
No, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you would probably get maybe none of them right.
Yeah,
I might be able to get the tangerine right.
Maybe.
I wouldn't get any of them right. Yeah, no, I would screw. I don't even know the difference between a clementine. Is a clementine and tangerine? I don't know. I'd screw them all up.
Whoever invented the clementine and like made that one, like in hybrid, whatever, genius. To have that and y'all's face all scrunched up when I said Satsumas. If you've never had a Satsuma, it's like the bigger version of a clementine, and they are grown in like the Palaca, Florida area. I don't know how else to describe that. Like an hour and a half south of Jacksonville. And they are unbelievable, dude. Like you could peel those with your nose and it would work. And there's no seeds. There's never any seeds inside. There might be one per Satsuma. Delicious.
Nothing worse than you biting into an orange and there's seeds.
You got to get rid of those seeds. Yeah, grapes seriously. Too. Like if you are the type of person who still gets seeded grapes.
Like what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
And how have we not made seedless cherries? Science is really disappointing. If there was the cherry consumption in the world would probably go up
skyrocket
like 50,000 fold if you could design a pitless cherry.
Yeah, probably. I just had some.
Here, the next one up that I picked, I went with the popular ones for if I was going into like the AFI store or heading into like the Shopette or something like that, are the ones that I would pick up. So Monster was number 1. Number 2 is Nas, which I think Nas, the NOS, the blue and orange can, I think that's the best tasting energy drink of all of them.
Oh.
So here he is on that one.
Welcome to episode 21 here on BSE, and today we're getting back to our viewer requests. Today's request comes from It's Chungle on TikTok, and he requested Nas, so we're going to do the Nas sugar-free. This is a brand that was created by Coca-Cola back in the day, purchased by Monster about 5 years ago. Let's dive right into the nose. On the nose, this is very fruity and very floral. Black cherry, black raspberry, black berry, maybe a little bit of violet as well. There's a little bit of pink grapefruit as well. Maybe a little bit of floral bathroom cleaner, but in a good way. Let's go to the palate. On the palate, this is medium bodied. It's quite soft, round, easy to drink. I like it. I'm going to give it 87 BSE points, and I hope you have an energetic day.
He likes that one. I mean, give it an 86 point scale. That's pretty damn good.
Right.
I would agree.
See if you agree with this. Certain types of individuals in the military gravitate towards these certain types of energy drinks, meaning Monster is usually consumed by the lazier, kind of crappier military members.
Or like the people who are legit just grimy. Like the super old school, don't care. The Monster is interchangeable with the old Master Sergeant who's had the same coffee cup since 1989 and has never washed it. Because why would you?
Correct. And then Nas is the dude who is super into working out and wants to tell you all about lifting and watches Pumping Iron once a week. And I always remember drinking Nas.
And the young whippersnappers are drinking Bang.
True.
Yes.
They're big time Bang. Number 3, he went with, this is the first one that he did. He went with sugar-free Red Bull, which of all the sugar-free drinks in the world, I think sugar-free Red Bull is probably the best.
With vodka.
Yeah, Red Bull vodkas, man.
Shout out Nate.
RBVs.
RBVs, it brings you back.
So here he is reviewing the sugar-free Red Bull.
Hey there. For our very first video, we are going to be tasting the original. Well, sort of the original. Red Bull Zero Sugar. Let's get into it. On the nose, it smells strange. It smells like fermented gummy bears or fermented honey or golden apples, yellow flowers. There's just a strong candied sense to the nose here. Let's taste. The palate is very heavy. It's rich. It's full-bodied. It's sweet despite not having much sugar. This is a strange bear, but this is where we begin. I give this 81 BSE points, and I hope you have an energetic day.
Good review on that one. You got to respect. I think that there's a certain level of respect when you come in as one of the OGs in the category. You have the Red Bull sugar-free. You have to respect that one. And finally, we'll finish it up with our beloved Rip It.
Welcome to episode 35 here on BSE. Today we're going to do something unique. This is Rip It, one of the least expensive energy drinks on the market today. This is a drink that I paid $1 for at Family Dollar, and perhaps due to its inexpensive nature, it tends to be incredibly popular among the armed forces, at least here in the United States. This was requested on Instagram by my man Zaya Joe, and on TikTok by several of you, including Lara B4, who actually just left on an active deployment. Let's get right into the nose. On the nose, this smells like orange juice, a little bit of orange liqueur, maybe a little bit of peach schnapps, bitter lemon peel, and a kind of weird floor cleaner sort of aroma. Let's go to the palate. On the palate, this is medium to full bodied. It's made in a relatively rich, heavy style. Honestly, this isn't great, but there's too many people who love this drink who do too much for me to give this a BSE score. So instead, I'm just gonna say, I hope you have an energetic day.
Them do one. I would have gone with the orange. I believe the orange Rip It is the best one. What do you guys think?
Red. I'm sorry, I'm going red.
I'm with you, chaps. I always preferred the orange.
Yeah, the red was just a little too thick. It's like drinking carbonated Diamond Tap.
It was always so disappointing to be like way out in the boonies and get the palate comes of the Rip Its and it's the plains. Yeah. You're just like, oh god damn it. Yeah.
Dude, there was one group, we had to stay out in Fallujah for like 2.5 weeks. We were only supposed to do 5 days out, 5 days out, 2 days back. Well, something happened for a long period of time. We couldn't get like a replacement out. We were out forever. And whenever the resupply came in, they brought a pallet of Rip Its, like a big case of them, iced. They were cold. And as soon as they got there, the platoon sergeant started like screaming. And he was like, guys, there's cold Rip Its. Come downstairs and get them. And it was like somebody just called and said Santa was in the area. We were like, Rip Its, oh my God. Wow, they had a fresh case of cold Rip Its. And they had those, they were still cold, those Uncrustables. Uncrustables and Rip Its. Talk about a morale boost
too.
Wow, dude. We were all sitting on watch, like had our pack of Miami cigarettes and our Uncrustables and Rip Its, just happier than pig and shit.
You guys were like Shawshank Redemption, tar on the roof with your beer.
Exactly.
And for just a moment, we felt like normal men that day.
Love it.
So that's that, a little bit of Rip Its. I still, it's still shocking to me that Rip Its is not the presenting partner of this show. It's
I
just
don't know
a
how.
travesty.
It really is. Someone get on the horn to Rip It.
We've tried. We've tried to get Rip It in. Me and Kate pitched a great idea.
We even had a commercial ready to go. We're like fucking ready. It involves like an electric guitar in Chaps' garage opening up and just being full of Rip Its. And we're like, wow, wow.
I wonder how much Rip It would be to buy.
You can buy it anywhere, dude. It's not
no. I meant the company.
They're publicly traded. They're I think the ticker is Fizz. They're owned by the same company that did the LaCroix waters.
Oh, so it's a locally crafted IPA too. I love that.
Exactly.
So I think that would actually be make it a little more expensive.
I want to talk to Erica about buying Rip It. I think that would be incredible.
That would be pretty cool to own Rip It.
Some veteran-owned brewery out there needs to do a Rip It beer.
Oh, a Rip It Stout.
Wow.
Ooh. Stout.
Oh, no. A Rip It Sour?
Yes.
Yeah.
You could take
that
like
probably works better.
A white ale. Like, let's say you take 11 ounces of a white ale and 1 ounce of a red Rip It. That might be pretty good.
Yeah,
I'd try it for sure.
I might go fucking to the dollar store and get one and try it today. Who knows?
That's one thing I wanted to mention. I never saw anyone purchase a Rip It in the States. I
bought some.
Consumed.
Remember, I bought some at the dollar store. I showed you guys. I got the one with the American flag can. I got the red one. I let my kids try it, and they thought it was disgusting. And then I looked on the back. The sugar content makes Mountain Dew look like straight up water.
Oh, absolutely. Kidney Stone City, but worth every sip.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to look.
Those videos where they go through like which drinks have the most sugar, that shit is shocking. When you see it as just regular sugar and it's Mountain Dew or Coke or like cranberry juice, you're like, holy shit. Because you would think cranberry juice or grapefruit juice, you'd be like, oh, that's healthy. Oh, no, my friend.
No.
That's terrible for you.
Definitely not good.
Oh, yeah. Not good.
You get fat as shit. What's also not good is having bed bugs that bite your taint, which we're going to talk about in round 3. Did I skip a round? I think I
sure did.
I sure did skip a round. That round that I skipped is going to be brought to you by our friends at Can-I Pro Gear. Can-I Pro Gear is the best bags in the game. I put it to the test because I am packing up all my tools. I told the moving company, which is awesome, by the way. I told the moving company that I would take all of my stuff from my shop and put it in my garage myself. So I've been loading these Can-I bags with just an insane amount of tools and just seeing how few trips I could do. That is the biggest dad move, I think, marine move that's still in me. I will not take more trips than absolutely necessary. I'll make myself miserable and damn near break my spine in half in order to only take one less trip. Just not going to do it. So I was loading it down, didn't even budge, felt comfortable on the small of the back. You guys know if you've ever hiked a lot, done a lot of humps, that the small of your back is the area that you need to protect the most whenever it's bouncing up and down. Padded enough. I didn't even feel the tools sloshing about in there or anything like that. Make sure you go to Can-I Pro Gear. They have the finest backpacks in the world and no one else even comes close. They have a salt pack, the everyday carry bags. Can-I has also a packer bag to fit any single one of your needs, whether you're going to the beach, you're going to the hike, or if you're Kate and you are having an overnight bag because you're about to pop a baby out, you could do that with Can-I Pro Gear. I don't know if you can have the baby with Can-I Pro Gear besides you, but all the little, Kate, you should take yours, shove it full of those hospital blankets that they give the babies. You got to steal as many of those as possible.
Oh, we're bringing in a totally empty bag just to steal freebies. It's already by the door.
Anytime they go out, you tell Pat those diapers that are in the cart, because they come with it whenever you're at the hospital. If there's diapers in the cart, put that in the bag. They'll refill it. Put it in the bag.
100%.
You just walk. If you walk out of the hospital and still need newborn diapers, you messed up somewhere along the way. Shove those diapers in a Can-I Pro Gear bag. It's CANNAE Pro Gear. Get yourself the best backpack ever. And on top of the already low prices, you can use the promo code ZBT15 for 15% off. And if you're one of those poor bitch PSCs and you can't afford anything over $75, they will cut it down into easy payments. They'll do 4 easy interest-free payments with no credit check required, as long as you use Afterpay. Pretty great deal. Make sure you go to caniprogear.com. Use the promo code ZBT15 for 15% off of your purchases. Also, follow them on Instagram at Can-I Pro Gear so you can check it out. You can see what you're actually going to buy. You can see it in action. Go to caniprogear.com. Promo code ZBT15 for 15% off. That's a great deal. Round number 3, we are going to talk a little bit about somebody in Haines, Alaska. So Haines, Alaska is out there in the middle of nowhere. It's essentially one of those spots on Chilkat Lake. Kate, tell the people what you know about Chilkat Lake.
Oh man, it's very chill. I'll tell you that much. And it's out there. People like to go ice fishing on it. Beautiful scenery.
Bunch of cats out there.
The cats are the chillest cats in town.
A lot of cats.
Chillest cat. Yeah, they call that lake the Cat's Meow of Alaska. So a group of residents had a bizarre encounter with a bear on the lake on Saturday. Shannon Stevens said that she was out in an outhouse when she felt something bite her bottom. Shannon said she spent the weekend with her brother and his girlfriend at the lake 17 miles from Haines.
Third wheel city, by the way,
right.
Shannon.
Oh, yeah, Shannon, what are you doing?
Wild move.
Find a significant other, Shannon, you fucking virgin.
Wait, let's not significant other shame, all right?
Yeah.
After traveling across the frozen lake by snow machine on Saturday, shout out Gaz, they cooked sausages over an open fire. And later that evening, Stevens left the yurt, probably because I suspect those sausages gave her what the French call diarrhea.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's a yurt?
A yurt is like it's a Nordic style tent, essentially. It's like a cabin tent.
Cool.
Okay, you've stayed in a yurt, right?
Yeah, I've seen a couple yurts in my day.
Yeah, you look like a yurt.
You're Yurt McGirt.
You've been known to yurt.
When you go through Kyrgyzstan, there's a bunch of yurts on the little, totally.
Okay.
And you know what they say about going on Airbnb? You can get a yurt for cheaper because if it's a yurt, it don't hurt. That's what they say.
Right. Absolutely.
She said, normally when we're going out there in the summer or the fall, I'm used to shouting, "Hey, bear," the entire time I'm going out to my outhouse. I got there and sat on the toilet seat and something bit me right in the butt. And I jumped up and screamed. She called for her brother, Eric, to come and run investigate. That's how you know it's a serious issue. If your ass cheeks out in the wind and you're middle of the Alaska by the lake and you're calling for your brother, see, that's why you need to have a significant other. You can call for Karen or somebody else that's not your brother to come help you.
They call that bit. They call that $1 million wound. Military.
Oh, yeah.
I never seen nickel that money.
Right in the buttocks. So what was it?
So what it was, she opened the lid and she took a little look inside, and wouldn't you know, it was the fat ass head of a big old bear looking right back at her.
In the outhouse? In the toilet?
In the outhouse. He was just chilling out, because a lot of outhouses in Alaska, or really anywhere that's built on a hill, they'll build the outhouse where it goes down so you can make it a little bit deeper. And then in Alaska, I know this because I watched a shit ton of Alaska shows, it's so cold there that in the wintertime, it essentially creates a giant poop sickle like under the ground. So like most other animals, bears are known to eat shit. Like they'll eat the shit of other animals. So because there's still like nutrients in it.
That's like a big fudgesicle, a nice big fudgesicle, it's
like a salt lick essentially.
Right. Wow. Delicious. Huh.
Yeah. So she looked in there, saw the bear, which I think is bananas to go out to an outhouse and not look inside. I mean, not just because it's bear season. It's not really bear season there now. But you would think that's just what you do in an outhouse. It's not secure. Like what? There could be a raccoon. There could be up there. There could be like a Wolverine, like legit Wolverine up there. You don't want to do that.
We got Coon's mom just shoot him off with a broom.
Never want to take a chance with your holes. That's for goddamn sure.
No,
fuel.
And not only that, but using porta-john is usually pretty disgusting. I actually like taking a peek on the inside and just to see what everybody else is working with on the inside.
Oh, God.
That's human nature. I completely understand. You got to know whether or not you have to build a dam. A dam, yeah.
There's nothing better at a concert than when a beautiful, beautiful woman comes out of a porta-john and you go in next and see that there's a fresh dump in there. It's like, oh, thank God, we're all human, right?
Yeah, you
Am I right?
Too.
Right.
You're absolutely right. My favorite, my most vivid, I should say, memory of a porta-john was I was at MCT, the follow-on training after Marine Boot Camp, and I went in there. And there's essentially, in most of these, like out in the field, there's probably 400 or 500 Marines at any given time using these porta potties. So they fill the fuck up quickly. People will throw trash in there. And I went into one and it was like somebody had Frosty machine butt. And they did, like, you could tell that they moved their ass in a circle to get it out. And it was above the rim. It was like the white man kid jump. Like the porta potty was so full that it was like starting to come out a little bit.
That's ridiculous because those are deep. So to be that full is disgusting.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're eating it, that's at the time in the training where you're eating MREs straight for a week. Like you have that many people eating that, and they're letting those things fucking fly in the toilet. They're gonna get pretty big. Let's go more into the story. The Department of Fish and Game said that this isn't a common area that happens this time of year because usually the bears are hibernating. And they actually said she might be the only person this has ever happened to. And I wouldn't be surprised if other folks had bizarre things, but nothing like this. But during February, to sit down in an outhouse and have something like that happen is very unusual. Shannon went on to say that it wasn't as traumatic as she thought it was going to be at first. And she said the lesson that she learned the most was the next time she goes into an outhouse, she's going to look down in a hole. I think that's a good safety.
You think, Shannon? You think you might do that? Lesson learned.
Lesson learned indeed.
All right, what is the one animal that when you looked in an outhouse hole, the last animal you'd want to see?
Absolutely, Python.
Yeah, some kind of snake. I wouldn't want.
Geez, the idea of a snake. There was a story here. I think I blogged about it like 2 years ago. That a woman, her husband had recently died. She was like in her 70s, and she went to go to the bathroom. And she went to her house, and there was a snake in there. And she had to call the cops. The cops came out to help her with the snake. They pulled it out. It was a 9-foot diamondback rattlesnake.
Yeah, no
She immediately put her house up for sale. She was like, I can't. She's like, without my husband, I can't do this. No. I would say I couldn't do it. Like, I am a husband, and I'd be like, we're fucking leaving. If there's a 8-foot rattlesnake in your toilet, you got to put
what
that
else
house
is
up
there?
For sale.
I'd be shitting in a wag bag from then on out. I wouldn't be able to.
In the meantime, I would just board up. I would board up that room and just never go in there until I left.
I mean, that's essentially what wag bag is. A wag bag's just a kitty litter box. Same exact thing. The material on the inside is, I think, cat litter. Kyle?
It is, yeah.
Can we confirm that?
Yeah.
Let's try to confirm that while we move on to round number 4. Round number 4 is a little bit of bed bug goofing. What do we got, Kate?
We got the crew of a fast attack submarine in Connecticut subjected to bed bug infestation in their racks, and sailors assigned to the sub allege the boat's command has been slow to fix the problem. And that's a problem you want to fix real quick. The infestation began while the sub was taking part in ICEX 2020, the Arctic Ocean, in March 2020, and continued during a deployment last year, according to a petty officer who asked to remain anonymous for fear of retribution. And that's a great sign of morale.
We usually name operations the dumbest shit ever. ICEX is pretty awesome. Good.
ICEX 2020 is cool. Yeah, it
sounds like X Games. Like they canceled X Games because of COVID, but some other company that doesn't believe in masks started ICEX 2020.
Yeah. Well, the only bummer about ICEX 2020 is that it's now, what are we in 2021?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they're still getting bit by these bed bugs for over a year now. They've been complaining. People are terrified of getting bit, he added. And because then you bring that off the ship, you bring that home. Like, nobody wants to be the smelly kid in class. This makes everyone on that submarine the smelly kid because nobody wants to be around the old bed bug.
Now let me say this. We shit on Tucker in round number 1. If Tucker Carlson started a show and he shit on the toughness of the military because they were complaining about bed bugs, I could get on board with that. Like, that's, to me, that's a little more understandable than doing flight suit goofing.
Yeah. Sailors allege they battled bed bugs for most of 2020, and Commander Cynthia Fields, a spokeswoman, said that the physical presence of bed bugs wasn't found on board until February 19th. Sorry, I'm listening to the sailors on this one. They're the ones covered in the bug bites.
Right. You can't confirm it. They showed you the fucking bites.
Right.
Yeah, they showed it to you.
Those things are very, very small. The chance you're going to see them is not great. So
yeah, the petty officer said the command initially did not believe sailor bedbug claims because we didn't have proof. Daily inspections have commenced. All berthing spaces have been searched and mattresses have been inspected. Linens and privacy curtains have been laundered or replaced. Navy entomologists have come on board to monitor efforts that include daily countermeasures. And she says they are taking it seriously. But according to 2 petty officers assigned to the Connecticut, the boat has been dealing with bed bugs since at least, again, March of 2020.
We skipped over an important part there. The fact that the Navy has dedicated entomologists is wild. You could be a bug person. That could be your MOS is fucking bugs.
I think I've mentioned this before, but one time on my second
officer of bug battalion.
On my second deployment, I traveled
to the booger platoon.
Yeah.
Well, on my second deployment, I traveled to a lot of different bases from time to time for physical security stuff. And one time I was going through Kandahar and so you have to share berthing with other women. They just put you in with other women. And she goes, do you want to see my collection? She was an officer. It was just her and I in this huge tent together. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Sure. Show me your collection. From underneath the bed, she pulls all these glass cases. She had been collecting bugs all over Afghanistan and had like them. She's like, yeah, I'm going to send them home soon. Blah, blah, blah. Like that was her fucking thing. Was
Did you tell her about your high school projects?
That got stolen? Yeah, because I was in field biology. I told her all about it. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm a fellow collector here. But yeah, it was just one of the weirdest things. But she was like, it helps me pass the time here to go out looking for bugs in my off time. And I find all these unique bugs. That's a pretty good hobby,
I guess. It's anything that you can do to make yourself feel better. One of my buddies, whenever we were in Iraq, he would constantly have like this Zen garden. He took just this straight up moon dust and got a rake that he got from like one of the like markets that was around, and he would stand out in his green on green silkies, shirtless on the camp, and just like rake his little garden and make like designs in it every day.
Oh yeah. Well, I wish I would have told her that entomologist was a thing you could be in the military. But back to this bug problem.
What if you're sitting at a bar and there's a beetle that dies and you're like a old crusty entomologist from like the Vietnam era and your hands start shaking? They're like, sir, are you okay? Like, just bringing back
a couple memories here.
I haven't seen a dragonfly like that in years.
Kate, did you report this woman? Because I'll just say it. I think that's weird. And then God forbid you bring a bug back or send a bug home that has some sort of disease.
Oh, they were dead. She had them dead and pinned and labeled and like was her hobby was like trying to figure out what the bug was and blah, blah, blah. It was like a whole thing. But back to this crew, they're saying it got so bad that they took to sleeping on chairs or on the floor of the crew's mess to escape the bloodsuckers during the deployment. People were getting eaten alive in their racks. The best way to put it would be employee abuse is what they're saying. Imagine once you know there's bugs in something, you don't want to go near it.
I would not go back.
And
to the
I
bed.
would say that's probably a lot of it. Like if they did all the inspections, they brought in all these health officials and things like that, they probably weren't finding it. But it's the same thing whenever, like, that's the reason why I send you guys those lice videos, because once you start seeing them, you feel like they're crawling on your scalp a little bit.
Yeah.
It's in your head.
I had a group of friends. They got bed bugs in their shore house one summer. And, these people saying like, oh, there was no evidence. That, you know what the evidence was, my friends? They just woke up one morning and their arms were just filled with bites. Yeah. Those don't just magically appear as if from nowhere. So this leadership saying, oh, we don't have any evidence, that's just pushing this down the road and they don't want to deal with it because that's all you need.
That's tough though. Like if you're underway and you're out in the middle of the ocean, the fuck are you going to do? It's not like you can put off like a raid fogger in there and get rid of them. Yeah. Like I imagine the process and like the protection of the equipment that's in a submarine in order to fumigate like that has got to be pretty damn intense.
Well, and especially think of a submarine real quick. These bed bugs can live for months and months and months without blood. They can live a long time. And one of the places they're really elusive because, they'll do crevices, box springs, baseboards. But another place that they go to hide is behind electrical switch plates and stuff like that. Think of a submarine.
Yeah.
They are in those. It's like a giant electrical switch plate. Like they are in the walls of that sub. Like
it's like an incubator for bed bugs. So they're going to be like huge bed bugs in there. And whenever they do fumigate it, it's not like you can crack a window on a submarine and let those fumes. It's going to take a bit.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Before you just said that, Kate, I would have said, I don't understand how bugs could survive on a submarine. That doesn't compute for me, but it makes sense now that what you said.
Yeah.
They should do a movie that's like Joe's Apartment, but it's for bed bugs on a submarine.
Yeah.
That's a recent reference by me.
I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Yeah, that's good. What I haven't thought about too is not preparing my meals because I've been using Trifecta Nutrition. Trifecta Nutrition is the best meal prep on earth. If you're living in the barracks and you haven't done this and you're getting sick and tired of all the different shitty options that you have, check this out because you're going to get 40% off with this deal. Trifecta makes meal prep easy. It doesn't suck, and all their meals are backed by nutrition science and taste great, making it simple. You can cook cook it in essentially anything. I bet you could use a rock or something in an MRE heater to heat one of these things up, which would be, if you do this, if you get it from Trifecta Nutrition, please find an MRE heater and try to warm it up. I want to see if that works well. It does work well in like an air fryer, which Kate has used. They also microwave oven. You can do it in a pan, essentially anywhere that you can cook. You can do it this. It's freezer food farm. It's fresher food. Sorry, not freezer food. Definitely not freezer food. Farm to fork supply chain, never frozen, organic produce, gluten-free. The meat is animal welfare level 5, which is the highest, and there's no wasted time cooking or cleaning. You just heat it up, you eat it, and you toss out the trash. It's a great deal. Make sure you go and use our code, which is 0. You're going to get 40% off meal prep at trifectanutrition.com/0. That's trifectanutrition.com/0. Finally, round number 5. This is going to be different because I've been watching The Dozen. Cons has been on it several times. Kate, have you been on The Dozen?
No, I've never once ever been asked.
Yo,
and
we had a
holding
team.
grudge.
They asked for teams. I said, me, Kate, and Hubs. We're going to be a team.
Nobody ever asked me.
Unbelievable. Disrespect is on a whole new level. It's I can't even believe it. But I have a game that I want to play. It's going to be officer versus enlisted. It's going to be Kate versus Cons. And in order for no cheating whatsoever to take place, I am going to have Connor and Kate sign off while the other one goes, because it's going to be a listing competition. So you can't know what the category is before I give it to you. So
can I just take my headphones off and go sit over there and then you guys wave at me and I'll come back over?
No, because I can't trust that it's going to. I want everybody to know based on video that nobody possibly could have cheated, because if you take your headphones off and do all that stuff, you might have the aux out where you could hear it. I want there to be no doubt, and this is the only way to do that. So Kate, you're going to go first. Connor, you're going to go second. Is that going to
fuck with audio?
It's not going to.
Kyle's saying yes.
It's going to fuck with YouTube. It's going to fuck with YouTube.
No, just keep it rolling. Just keep it rolling, because you can sign back in with the same link.
But it's going to go I'm
going to walk away and shut my ears.
Switch. Like it's going to go from four windows to 3, and the whole framing is going to be way off.
Just try.
I think that's what we're going to have to do, because I want this to be fair and square.
I promise I won't cheat. I'll go pet my cat on the couch while it's happening, and I'll cover my ears.
You know what else you could do? If you turn the volume all the way down,
I will.
There's nothing for it to come through.
Honor system. I got it.
That's all you have to do is just turn the volume all the way down.
You don't have trust in us?
I don't. And because I don't want any cheating to happen at all. Nope. I want to sign off. I think we got to sign off. Even if the YouTube gets messed up for 2 minutes, that's going to be fine. I think we'll just deal with that as it comes. Cons, you go ahead and sign off. I'll text you whenever it's time to come back.
See ya.
All right. So Connor is signing off right now. He's gone. We're on 3. So Kate, your category of how many you can list in a time period of, let's go with 2 minutes, or let's do 90 seconds. So you have 90 seconds to come up with as many types, and this is enlisted base, and Cons is going to be officers base, as many types of cigarettes as you possibly can. Cigarette brands. How many cigarette brands can Kate list in a period of 90 seconds? Are you ready? I'm not going to give you time to think about it. 90 seconds.
I'm only going to need 10 seconds because I only know like 4 kinds.
And don't write them down. It's not writing them down. It's just blurting them out. Me and Kyle are going to keep track.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, go.
Pines, Jacks, Marlboros, Marlboro Lights, Marlboro Menthol Milds, Camels, Camel Lights, Camel Crush, the Virginia Slims. Ooh. That's like really off the top of my head.
Keep going, Kate.
I'm just drawing a blank. It's been so long since I've smoked now. I'm a Marlboro Lights lady. I really don't. Parliaments, menthols. Marlboro menthols. I think I already said that. Marlboro menthol milds. That used to be my cigarette. One of my many.
30 seconds left.
American Spirits, of course. Duh. Oh my gosh. American Spirits. You're gonna ask Cons this same question? Then why did Cons have to go?
Because I don't want him to know what we're doing.
Oh, that's literally all I got.
5,
off the top of my head. I have
4,
prego brain.
3,
I don't know.
2, 1. All right. So what do we got, Kyle?
I got 13.
Oh, terrible.
I'll have to go back through and see if she repeated the Marlboro menthol light.
Menthol, yeah. Something.
All right, so I
But
just texted
13.
Connor to come on back. He should be signing in here just a second. Once he comes back, so Kate got 13 right, pretty good. So Kate got 13 right in her category.
Out of how many?
No, it was. You'll see what in a second. It's just listing like of a certain category. But she got the number to beat is 13. I probably shouldn't even told you what the number to beat is. But if you get past 13, then you are going to be the winner.
Okay.
So Kate, you go ahead and sign off.
Okay.
All right. So Kate already went. She got 13. Your question, her question was enlisted base. Your question is going to be officer base. Name as many varieties of wine from Cape Winelands in South Africa as you possibly can in 90 seconds. Ready, set, go.
I mean, variations. I'm Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir.
No, varieties strictly from the Cape Wineland in South Africa.
0. I don't know any. Tell her to come back. I'm sorry. I don't know any.
All right. You got 1 minute and 10 seconds left.
All right. What do you guys want to talk about for a minute and 10 seconds?
You could literally say anything because I don't even know what that is. So you could just say like
I
whatever
don't know
you want.
about
Fancy words.
specific
Just say
vineyards.
French words and I'll count them down.
Okay.
Les incompetents.
You can
That's
come
one.
back. Okay. You can come back. Okay. All right. Khan's got 0. That's disappointing.
Oh, no.
Kate's
That's
question, I'll wait for her to come back and I'll tell you what her question was.
Okay.
But I thought you'd get at least half of what she did. So Kate, you ended up winning. Khan's got 0 right.
Yay!
Kate's question was list the type of cigarette brands in the world, as many cigarette brands that you possibly can. And Khan's question was list as many varieties of wine from Cape Winelands in South Africa as you possibly can.
Yes. Cons, I would have knocked that out of the park too, though.
Yeah, probably.
And
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
coming from a guy who said that he's watched the Somme documentary too, which is very disappointing.
That might
Aw,
be
man.
Indeed.
Well,
All right,
good game, Kate.
good game. All right, let's move on to save rounds and alibis. Cons, we'll start with you.
Okay. Number 1, the Barstool Fund, obviously still alive and kicking and doing well. And Dave just recently this week saved Fireside Bar, which is a bar right outside of West Point. And I know there were a lot of people calling me, texting me, and very happy to see that bar got saved. Great establishment. So happy to see that Fireside was saved. Today is the 8th anniversary of my buddy PK being killed, Andrew Peterson Keel. So just thinking of him today. He was a great guy, as I always say anytime I mention his name. He's an awesome, awesome guy. And then earlier in the week, I texted you guys that I had 2 announcements. The first announcement is we are bringing beard season to a close a couple weeks early this year.
Oh.
So this will be my last recording of beard season until beard season resumes in October.
Whoa, that's hopeful for the spring. I like it.
Yeah.
Wait, you have a beard right now?
Yeah, you can
tell.
see the
It's
stubble.
got a shadow.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, I'm talking clean. I'll be clean shaven.
Usually
after
your
this.
beard's better.
Well, I just trimmed it the other day. So, and then the second announcement, I'm going to text you all something right now, and you know, react as you'd like. This is my second announcement.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous.
Let's see. We're waiting for it to come through.
Yay!
Oh.
Careful what you say. Careful what you say.
We're not
Careful what
going
you
to say it.
Oh.
Careful what you say.
Have you actually thought about this?
I've given it.
I'm going to need you to bring in, I'm going to have to do a counseling sheet. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done the proper ORM?
counseling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess cons might have, well, that's going to be shitty for the listener. They're going to have no idea what we're talking about.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
you're just gonna have to,
That's
have to
okay.
listen to Tuesday's episode to find out what
Tuesday's
happened.
episode.
Yep. All right. Those are good safe rounds cons. The beard thing wasn't really that big of a deal, but
That was kind of
The other one is. Oh, that's exciting. Hmm.
Kyle, what do you got?
Not a whole lot, actually. I'm just here.
There you go. That's a good one. Kate?
I just can't wait to get this baby out so I can enjoy Cape wine like cons, get with the program, like a nice Owl Height Vineyards Cartology bush vine, maybe a
Oh,
nice
of
Cannon
course.
Cop Black Label Pinotage, perhaps an Anthony Rupert Optima.
Brick by brick, Anthony Rupert.
Oh, huge. A nice Bordeaux blend, a nice red. So a Chenin Blanc, something like that from the Cape that those grapes are known for. So I'm shocked that Officer Cons didn't know those. I can spout them off so easily off the top of my head. Go great with the Marlboro Menthol Mild is the Pinotage. So something to think about. Marinating it, Cons. Think about it for next time.
Oh,
That's
I
all I
found out
got.
what's in a wag bag. You guys want to know what's in a wag bag?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not kitty litter.
It's
actually.
oil pickup.
No, it's not that either. So wag bags they have a gel, a liquid activated powder gelling agent.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it sits at the bottom there, and when you do your thing,
It always felt like kitty litter to me.
it gels. It's super fine. I've looked at way too many pictures of these in my research the last 10 minutes. But yeah, it's just gel.
You'd think that kitty litter would be cheaper too than having that specific
And having a
type of
gel.
I don't think I even saw a wag bag. my
Really?
entire
Well,
time
you're
in the
too busy
military.
peeing oatmeal.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
True.
Exactly.
True.
Shitting in overnight oats. That's where that goes.
Nice. Gels up real nice.
My save round is I am glad that in this latest round of coronavirus stimulus checks or whatever the fuck they want to call it, they included a normal like pork barrel type thing, but it's actually a good one where they are going to stop it. Further helps stop the predatory nature of schools that use the GI Bill in order to fund themselves, like your DeVry universities and things like that. This bill makes it a lot more difficult for those companies to do that, which is a great thing because so many people get fucked there with those types of schools. And they should honestly stop letting them advertise on base. Like it's unbelievable.
No
like you go
shit,
you go to the education
They have
system and that's where they're at.
Yeah.
They have like a desk in there where there's some usually attractive individual that sits there, and then your Lance Corporal fuckface, and you walk by, you're like, hey, she'll talk to me.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, you went to what school? American Military Institute. What the fuck is that?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I had so one of the cool things about the Air Force is they actually have an accredited community college. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
No.
So
They
like
do.
if you are an instructor at an Air Force school, within the first year, in order to stay in instructor status, you have to at least have an associate's degree. It's a requirement for enlisted personnel or whoever. So when I came down to Lackland, they take some of your leadership courses and some of the previous stuff that you had done in college, and they add in their little elements. And I actually have an associate's from the Air Force Academy, which I had completely forgot about.
Whoa,
That's fun.
Fancy pants. I
Yeah.
like that.
You ever bring that up to Dr. Catherine?
I might have to, like now that she is.
Shove it in her face. She thinks she's so.
How many
She thinks she's
degrees
cool with
does
all
she
the
have?
degrees.
Yeah. And I asked her because we're doing all these home things. So she emails me with her professional account from like our realtor and shit like that to let me know. Because I'll never read a contract. I don't give a fuck about any of that. She has a doctorate. Like she can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I am an enlisted guy. I'm not going
Right.
to read contracts and all that shit. So
No.
she was going through it. She sent it and it has like her new credentials at the end. And I'm like, you didn't even put doctor in front of it? And she's like, well, you put the credentials, not like doctor. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck that. I'd be putting doctor. Like, who
sure.
cares about the actual letters? I want doctor. It's like the same thing with the Navy where they call their like petty officers, like their E6s, MA1 or whatever, like their rate and then their rank. Get the fuck out of here. Call me like I want to be called the technical term for my rank. Call me doctor.
Yeah, because I don't know what the credentials are that she has now at the end of her title, but it's probably not something that's well known as doctor.
Yeah, it's doctor of public health is what she is.
So, but what are the credentials at the end of her name?
DPH?
I don't know. DPH.
Like something. DPH. Like I have no idea what DPH is, but if you put doctor, I'm like, oh, doctor.
Hers
I know
is
that
ridiculous. She has like doctor, 2 master's degree and a bachelor's degree. It's like, what are you doing?
More degrees than a thermometer.
And then she said that she wanted to go get. Her business, a master's in business. Like, why? Like, don't do that.
I don't understand that. I guess people just have.
She just likes to learn.
I have a buddy. He had his master's in finance, and then he went and got his MBA on top of that. And I just think to myself, why would you want to go to that much school?
Not me. I'll never go back to school. That's a promise that I'll make to the listener as long as I'm not running. Add that one to the board. Never going back to school and never, ever going to run. But I will run back here on Tuesday. Hope you will too. We'll see you then. It's on the retreat.